So here I've opened up my Zoom meeting. So this is if I was an instructor. And I could start a new meeting. I could also join from here. I could schedule a meeting, or I could share my screen. So the question was, what is schedule a meeting? And that's where you can set them up in advance. I would suggest, though, instead of using this schedule for using with students, that we use the Canvas piece. So I'm going to show you the general how to use Zoom, and then we'll look at how it works within Canvas and some of those pieces. There are some other features. I'm not going to honestly, I'm not going to worry about some of the fancy features like the contacts. There are some cool things you can do, and I'm not it's like hardcore, and we're just trying to we're trying to just live our lives. So I'm going to start with a new meeting just by clicking on the icon that's orange and says new meeting. It will pop up a new meeting for me. It's looking in my office. It's pretty super creepy, right? I don't know why you're not detecting my microphone. Oh, no. So it says, do you want to join with computer audio? So that's the first thing it just wants to know, what are you doing? So it says join with computer audio. I'm going to try to see if I can get mine to work. It's going to be a little bit grumpy at me because I'm not in my office to kind of give it some control. So I'm just going to X out of here. And down below, why are you not detecting my audio? That's very awkward. Down below, we have a little drop up, we have a little menu, and it allows you to look at the settings of your computer to determine hey, what are you using for audio? So usually your microphone would show up here. It would say which microphone do you want to use? You can also test your speaker and your microphone if you're not sure. It will say, do you hear a ringtone? We're not going to hear it because it's in my office, right? I'm remoting into my office to do this. So it's saying, do you hear a ringtone? I'm going to lie and say yes, even though I don't hear anything. Hopefully, if this was real for you in your office or space, that you would hear them and say yes or no. And it says, do you hear something if I speak? Again, I'll say that was true when it was a lie. Here is the options for the video, again with a little setting to control. Look at the controls and determine what camera, what am I using. So it does detect my camera, and I can look at some of the camera settings and see hey, this is mirroring my video so it looks backwards. I can touch up my appearance. I definitely need that in my life. So I can look at some of these options, turn off my video when joining a meeting, always display participant names. I'm going to look at these and I'm going to read the settings and hopefully kind of determine if they make sense to me kind of based on what I'm reading. Spotlight means I'm going to highlight who I am so they won't be able to look at other people. Down below there's an invite, and it's just pulled all of these people that anyone in the system. It's a lot of people. Usually what I do is I grab either this URL or the invitation. So it says copy URL or copy invitation. Those are if I was going to do an instant meeting, right? I'm just going to meet right now in this second, and it's a quick meeting. I would just grab that information. It copies it to my clipboard. So my computer just kind of has it, right? It's just holding it in space in its little memory. And then I decide when I open up my email and I paste it in, it will paste the information for my Zoom room. So you won't need to create a student list because we're going to set up the Zoom sessions within Canvas so that students will be able to see the Zoom sessions automatically. They're going to connect through Canvas. And that way you won't need to worry about connecting your students and sending them out emails. They're going to see those sessions. That this Zoom, the room number is actually I know that because of the little ID number in the top, it kind of fades and comes back in. But if you look at the very top of the screen, it's a little bit hard. I can't zoom this. But every time you start a Zoom, the little number that says meeting ID, this is the number that students would kind of pop in. So this is how students would join if I was just going to do a quickie, right? Like I'm just like, hey, just grab in, pop in. If you set a persistent number in the settings of your Zoom, then it will always be the same. If you don't set a persistent link, then it will change every time. And so it's important to know, because as soon as I stop my Zoom session and join in again, it's going to give me a new fresh link. Here is my list of participants. So again, I started a fresh Zoom. They would all be listed here. I can close that menu. There's a chat option. Actually, if anyone, so a lot of this is just the general Zoom control, how this works, because once the Zoom session is started, you will be using this. This is what opens when you start with Canvas.